No, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to move on to the new segment of this podcast, and that is Fail Mail, ladies and gentlemen. We for a long time have wanted to do a sort of write-in agony aunt kind of dilemmas section to this podcast, but I'll be honest, we didn't have the followings to. we didn't get the mail. We didn't get the mail. We wanted. We wanted them.
Messages back. So,
yeah.
Let alone the general public.
And it just got depressing trying to write a small fictional novel every week of a letter to write in for each other. So, but now we are at a different stage. We've progressed beyond where we were, and we do have the following. And we put out into the world this week. We said, guys, just a classic. What's your worst date story? Give us your worst date you've ever been on. And the responses came thick and fast, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much to everyone who did respond. It's absolutely amazing. We're going to read our sort of pick of the litter of the stories. Ali, do you want to start?
Yeah, I've got some really good short ones, but I'll save those for the end. Let's do a longer one here. Right. So thank you to everyone who messaged in. It was amazing. And also we can all come together in that we've all, like, loads of people have had a terrible day out there. So this is one I've got. Here's one.
Yeah. Shout out all the people who said me when I said what you were saying.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure there were lots of Ali's, you as well.
Yeah. No, none. Everyone was like, I wish I could go on another day with you. No, I had one who said that. One who said, yet to happen with you. Ha 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 ha. And I was like,
okay, that's all right.
Yeah, that's all right. But I was like, but that makes me less interested to go on a date because you're already saying it's going to be shit. Anyway, so my own insecurity. Right. I met this really hot guy on the apps in March. Also, I may say as well, most of these stories are where it's like the man who has been terrible. So
I would say I've got one where it's not.
Yeah,
I'm already.
Same. I think. I met this really hot guy on the apps in March. He really is my type. Won't go into much detail. Of course, lockdown happened and he moved back to Canada. In August, he came back to London, and after 2 more weeks of quarantine, we finally meet for the first time. He suggested to meet in Waterloo, drink something there, and have a walk in the South Bank to Borough Market. Sounds nice so far, doesn't it?
Solid date, that.
Yeah. I was really having...
One from the old Tom Elvis handbag.
Yeah, I bet that is. Exactly. Yeah. His name was Tom. He said he was a comedian, but I watched his videos and they weren't very funny.
I don't understand what all the fuss is about. I think you should go back.
Yeah. I think he was better at the video editing.
I think you should go back in production and media.
Production seems to be a strong point. This is a bloke. This is 2 blokes on this one.
Oh,
so it wouldn't have been you, as far as I'm aware, unless you're not telling me something. I was really having an amazing time. We talked about so many things, and again, he is hot. That was capitalized. And I didn't really care about the conversation much. I was already thinking of us at mine, Netflix and chill, Uber Eats, and then fire emoji and water emoji, which would therefore mean
fire and water,
which would therefore mean nothing. No interest, nothing.
A very placid time. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, dry.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to the story. We started walking in the market, looking at the food stalls and deciding what to have for lunch, when he screamed very loud and lied on the floor in a fetal position.
Interesting.
I turned around and thousands of things came to my mind, like, oh my God.
Terrorism?
Yeah, he got stabbed and he's having a heart attack. People near us literally run away. And in a second, I was standing there with this guy on the floor. I sat down next to him and asked him what happened. He couldn't speak for a few seconds, but he indicated with his hand a food stall nearby. And then told me they sell cheese and I've got tourophobia. Of course, I had no clue of what that means. So I asked a girl who was witnessing all this drama to Google for me. And it turns out he's scared of cheeses. I literally had no words. Wow. Didn't know what to say. In the meantime, security came and they were about to call an ambulance. I understood that this guy couldn't be the right one for the rest of my life, I think it's per se. However, he definitely was the right one for that night and 3 more. So I thought that was quite a nice one because it had a nice resolution at the end and quite a mad middle bit.
first of all, if you had, what's it, turophobia?
Turophobia, fear of cheeses.
If you had turophobia and someone suggested to go to Borough Market and that was like literally something that was going to make you crawl into a fetal position had you seen cheese, I would most likely Googled Borough Market and you would have found it's a pretty cheesy
But
place.
he doesn't know he's
Like,
got turophobia.
the man doesn't know he's got turophobia.
No, the guy the guy on the date
I know,
didn't know.
but surely he was messaging the guy being like, yo, we should go to the South Bank and go on a walk.
Oh yeah, but I mean, he's not British because he's from Canada. It seems.
Okay, or other things. That man must have a nightmare every time he goes to a restaurant. I mean, good lord.
That's a tough life, isn't it? Imagine walking past the Baby Bells and just losing the plot.
Yeah, is it everything? Is it pizza as well? Like, what's the deal?
I don't know. I'm interested. I feel sorry for him because cheese is everywhere. It really is, But what are you gonna do? But I thought that had quite a nice resolution because this guy realized, look, this isn't gonna. I don't want to be forever with a guy afraid of a bit of fromage, but I will shag him for a few nights, which is. I think it's great.
How you honestly going through your life? If there are any turophobes out there, please write in.
I'd love to hear how it affects you.
How do you go about your day? As a child, it must have been a nightmare. The Baby Bell situation would have been a big one.
Imagine that, having a burger and then cheese on there, you lose plot.
Pizzas, McDonald's, everywhere. There's cheese everywhere. It's impossible. That's supermarkets, everything. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. This is not. You must have to have some serious counselling to get over this because that is an absolutely wild thing.
You've got it. I'd say prioritize getting over your fear of cheeses if that's possible. I assume it is because phobias often you can't deal with them.
And what do you there's so many things as well. Like, oh God, you just go about your day. It'd be impossible. You'd be absolutely just dumbstruck constantly. Like, it's stressing me out thinking about being scared of cheese. Like,
it's tough. It's tough for the guy. Do you want another shorter one?
Yeah, go on.
Went to a guy's house for dinner recently. First date because pubs and stuff were shut, and he cooked me a spag bowl. And halfway through the meal, he told me he wanted to show me his bag.
Interesting.
Curious, we went into the bedroom where his bag was, and then he started taking out a wooden paddle.
Okay.
Spanked his hand and said, "This was for the bum." And then some kind of feathers and a brand new sex toy. To say awkward is an understatement.
I'm going to need to know some things. What number of date was this?
First date. Was first date.
Oh, you'd run. If you pull out the feathers and the spanking paddle, do you want to see my bag that early on?
I'm out of it. Do you want to see my bag? That's such a good. I'm going to use that line. Shall we take this to my bag?
My bag. Your bag could be so many different things as well. Like,
also, I like this. This is for the bum.
This is for the bum. This is for the bum. Just to clarify.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know what you
mean to scare you. This is for the bum.
Yeah, for the bum. The buttocks. Not. This is not for the anywhere weird. Don't worry. Just
so
the bum.
Good.
Yeah.
So good. All right. Hit me with one.
Wow. Okay. Wow. That is. Yeah. Okay. So I've got a few. Okay. So this is a good one. Okay, this is from. I'll change her name. We'll call her Lucy. I went on a date. I went on a date and went home drunk with the guy. We were high and drunk, and I ended up waking up in his parents' house in his spare bedroom. It turns out he wasn't 21. He was 19. I was 25 at the time. Okay. Already good start. Okay. And even worse, I walked downstairs and walked in the next day in full slut gear. Okay, that was her words, not mine.
Her words, all right. Okay.
And his mother was standing there in the hallway with his two younger siblings, and she was holding a 50th birthday cake and balloons for her dad, for the guy's dad.
That's amazing. What did she say? Does it say anything more?
No, she just said amazing. Obviously it didn't work out and she left sharpish.
That's so good. Happy 50th. The dad must have been excited. Oh, you got me.
Oh,
You got
me.
A woman as well.
Yeah.
Son, you shouldn't have.
Legend. Yeah.
That's
brutal.
Oh, poor her. That's bad. I mean, you had that, didn't you, for a bit though? Is this someone who's dating you?
Lied.
Is this someone who's dating you? This is your ex, isn't it? Was it your dad's
she wrote in. Yeah. No, for the listeners who don't know and haven't been historic listeners of this podcast, when I was 17, I did date an older woman, and I did lie about going to work when I was actually going to school every morning because I was 17. She would ask me things. She'd be like,
"This is her."
She'd be like, "Oh, how was your day?" And I'd just have to make shit up and be like, "Oh, markets
Know,
crazy,
bloody business comes
inflation,
and goes,
inflation."
It's like that peep show. Just keep saying, "Oh, chance would be a fine thing."
Yeah, literally. Oh god, it was awful.
Oh man, what would you say? I'm trying to think what I would say if it was like the mum's 50th and I come down in like a bloody like just shirt,
party dress.
Yeah, and clearly like hungover and.
I mean, I didn't actually want to go into too much gross detail, but I guess she wrote it. But I left a line out that said her hair was a mess and full of different fluids.
My goodness me.
Yeah, there you go.
Sounds like they had a good time, at least. Sounds like they had a good time. But yeah, that is
show that 19-year-old boy.
That 19-year-old, he couldn't give less of a shit about the disaster he just caused. He was having.
She came downstairs and there was the cake and everything. Then he sort of strutted down the stairs,
down. Took a slice of the cake with his hand and said, "Yeah, I'll have this." All right,
yes, mum.
Yes, Dad.
High five.
High fives him. Be like, "Happy birthday, Dad. You raised the good one here."
Yeah, legend.
That's horrendous. Fair play. Do you want to hear another one?
Yeah.
This was when I was back at uni, so a number of years ago now. I matched with a guy on Bumble and we chatted a bit, then organised to meet up for a date. So we went back to the local Spoons for a couple of drinks and I quickly realised that he was a little bit odd. He asked me what my best drunk story was, so I told him something and then obviously asked him in return because he was definitely fishing for that question. So he said, the other weekend, he was out getting drunk in the park with some pals, which is very 15-year-old vibes, or in these times, quite Corona, really. So this was a few years ago, though.
Okay.
But one of them was a pagan. So he said they all got naked and started doing pagan rituals around a tree.
Okay.
I kind of thought he was joking, so I laughed along. But he was being deadly serious. And he then said to me that he knew a forest nearby and still remembered all of the pagan rituals. If I was interested in getting naked with him and dancing around a tree to pagan rituals.
Oh, God. I just start that there because I just love it how he was fished for the question because he really, he was just like, oh, my friends did this. But really, he's just trying to angle like, would you be okay with the pagan?
We could do that, I guess.
Whatever, like if you fancied it, like I mean, it's not,
Yeah, like, I mean, you brought it up technically, sort of, didn't you, by asking me the question? Yeah. So just going off your cue, basically.
I know some pagan spells. What of it,
So again, I laughed because I thought this must be a joke, but he was being deadly serious. So at that point, I definitely knew he was odd and called it a night. I really wanted to escape him, and he really wanted to walk me home, but I said I really didn't want that, and he lunged at me to kiss. 3 times. And I had to do the whole bending back to avoid him, just like in the Matrix movie. He tried to kiss her 3 times. And she said no.
Wow, that's like something you would do, Alec. Wow, that is like
that's
unbelievable. Yeah. I'm not a quitter. That is
shocker.
Weird.
Yeah.
Really weird. Yeah, I do the angling of just trying to slip in what you really, really like into a conversation. That is funny. That is genuinely funny. Being like, well, whatever. My friends are those weirdos. Oh.
Have you got another one?
Okay. Yeah, here we go. This is a good one. Okay. So it was a radio station competition, and I got to go on.
Brilliant. I love that as a start to a story. Anyway.
Yeah. The first one was with this dude who says, and this is 2017. Bear in mind that he loves Trump and thinks he's hilarious.
Yes.
Win already.
So already we know that his banter's a bit classic.
Yeah. Well, it's a fucking funny chat.
Well, exactly. Oh, was he guilty of being hilarious himself? Like,
yeah. basically, it's a surprise that we are going skydiving, and he says he chose this because the radio station is paying for it, and it's something he wanted to do. A positive. A positive of the date is that we didn't get to talk much because I was strapped to a lovely man and we were in a plane with plastic windows. And I was also crapping my pants scared, as you would be if you'd not been skydiving. The skydive was actually fucking cool, but my backpack boyfriend, the man she was strapped to, made us go into a spiral on the way down, and I literally spewed my guts out as soon as we landed in front of my date and all the radio station people, and they all looked at me. So it was kind of the best and worst date I've ever been on.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that. Yeah, she skydove, and it sounds like she got to do something fun, but the throwing up was a bit of a
The
shame.
spewing everywhere.
But then fuck
being on
that
a
guy.
date.
Like, he sounds like a bit of a wanker anyway. So good thing. That's quite a good thing to do, to throw up in front of him. Be like, that's what you get.
Have you ever won like a radio competition or any kind of competition?
I never won a competition. Someone I was going out with, though, used to work in competitions, so she sort of knew how they worked. So she entered one for a vodka company. She wasn't running it; she had no, but she could tell that it wasn't going to be many people entering it because you had to buy the vodka bottle, then you had to like register, then post about it with like 40 words or whatever. And she named the brand in her post. Apparently, if there's any competition where they want you to post about it, definitely put the brand name in your post, because the person choosing the winner will look for Control F, like who's put the brand name in out of the ones. And she won. And she won $10,000. It's Australian dollars, $10,000. And a waxwork of her.
Wait, life size?
Life size waxwork of her. And she said, "Can I just have the money?"
Yeah. I don't want that creepy.
And they said, "No, contractually, we have to do the waxwork of you as well." So she now has this waxwork of her in her mum's garage, life size, which her brother, when he's got his mates around, just sends photos of like his mates getting off with her statue.
Twerking on it and stuff. Yeah. You know what I would do with that? I would turn it into a massive candle.
That would be good. But then you just watch it fucking melt.
Yeah, great.
That would be good. Do it. Put that on live. Be all right.
That'd be like art.
I've never won. Have you won any competitions? I've won comedy competitions, I guess, if you want to bring that up. I guess I have.
No, that's not what I meant at all.
So I suppose in that way, I have won competitions.
Yeah, no, in that
Have
way,
you
I have
done
beaten
that?
6 to 7 other people in a pub. Yeah, I actually have won. I was actually Bath's comedian.
Say no more.
Bullshit. Yeah.
Have you won a radio competition or anything like that?
No, I wish I had.
Okay.
Never actually really entered.
Yeah, it's long to enter. But that's apparently, she knows a bit of gaming the system, so ask her. Right. Went on a first date a couple of months ago, and it was a shambles from start to finish. The zip of my jeans broke off when I went to the toilet. I wish the ground would have swallowed me up. My awkward self decided to walk around holding my bag in front of me instead of just going to replace the jeans. We were taking a walk, and he starts to hold my hand, the hand not covering the mess that was the front of my jeans. I'm a bit confused because in my head, we didn't have that much in common, and there were so many long silences. I went to pull my hand away and told him I just didn't really like holding hands. Instead of letting go, he kept holding onto my hand and said, "But they fit together really well, nah?" It was the most uncomfortable few seconds of silence before I managed to pull my hand away, only for him to try and kiss me not long after. I turned and gave him the cheek and said some shit about not kissing on the first date. "Ha, you're welcome." He thought it was amazing too. He then tried to kiss. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have said. He thought it was amazing. He thought it was amazing too. He then tried to kiss me again. Honestly, my confusion at this point. I'd had enough by now, and he was walking me to the station when he got us to stop to listen to a man talking to a little crowd about how all the COVID conspiracies are true. I'm just waiting to go at this point, and then he decides to go and shake this man's hand, and comes back telling me how right he is. I didn't even know what to say. I'm just standing there. That was
Tries to
definitely
grab
the
my
last
hand
day.
again after. Yeah, the last person in the world you wanna touch is the COVID conspiracy man's hand.
Yeah. It was brilliant. Have you got any more? I got some short ones, and I've also got one, and he wants us to mention him. Another comedian, Lukey Nixon, has sent me one for this one, so I can read this out. Do you want you?
Yeah. There you go.
I match an unbelievable. So this is Lukey Nixon. If you want to follow him, it's Lukey Nixon, LUKIENIXON on Instagram. I match an unbelievably good-looking girl on Hinge. We agreed to meet. Blessings be, I thought. That was also her name. Her name is Blessings.
Wow. Okay.
A couple hours before our date, I met my friend Moses. This is a very biblical story. Sorry, I think they went to the
Moses
Old
and my other
Testament.
friend Abel.
Exactly,
Yeah.
And parted the Red Sea, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, we went on a pilgrimage to a small shack in Bethlehem. Yeah.
So a couple hours before our date, I met my friend Moses in a tacky salsa bar. After a few sambucas, we split ways, and I wait for a cab. To have sambucas before the date is bold. Bold. Suddenly, a guy comes up to me and grabs my crotch while his mate goes through my backpack behind me. Needless to say, I crumpled to the floor, and a crowd quickly gathered. While spinning around on the floor like an 8-year-old at a school disco, I saw my Uber arrive 10 yards down the road. On my hands and knees, I shamefully crawled from the crowd and bundled into the car. For revenge, I wound down the window and flicked the V's and sped off to the Four Thieves in Clapham. Shout out Four Thieves in Clapham. Many young person's date place. After telling the driver what just happened, I was quite stressed. So to calm my nerves, the driver and I smoked what I thought was a quick joint near the venue.
Okay.
So he's had a few sambucas, got mugged, and now he's having a joint with the Uber driver.
This is quite a day. Okay.
I rocked up 55 minutes late.
Right. Presumably fucked, right?
She told me, and this is in quotes, as a 10, she couldn't believe I'd kept her waiting. But it showed confidence, so she backed it.
Blessings. I like this girl. I'm in. Okay.
Upstairs in the Four Thieves games room, we play a Scalextrics game where I end up lapping her 4 times. She turned to me coldly and asked if I was trying to humiliate her.
Yes, I am, because I need to win.
He's a few sambucas and a joint in, and he's still smashing out the Scalextrics. Fair play to him. Walking her to the tube, she stopped and told me she decided she wasn't into white guys anymore. So not only have you put her off you put her off an entire race. Off a race of people. Knowing I had nothing to lose, I smiled and said it had been a blessing to meet her. She unmatched me before I made it home.
What an adventure that was. That's insane.
Oh man, that's Lukey Nixon. If you want to shout out, thanks for sending that in. Another comedian. If any other comedians want to shout out, send in your stories, man. That's funny.
Yeah. So on a last one, very very quickly, another comedian, Preet Singh, right? Yeah. He mentioned another about shout out Preet Singh, very funny comedian. Check him out, right? He on the topic of race, right? He did one. He goes, oh, the racist one was pretty straightforward. Matched a girl on Tinder, turned up, and she was real awkward. And then when I asked flat out, and when I asked, she flat out told me she didn't realize I was brown and wasn't into brown dudes. Amazing. I paid for my drink and I left.
Jesus Christ. What do you mean? How did they match and meet? Also, Tinder. His name is Preet.
Sitting, yeah, and like, there's just so many things there.
Many questions. What was she looking at? How bonkers?
Unless it was one of those dating apps which I have heard about, which is no pictures. I don't know.
If
just pure personality.
I imagine you'd be like, what's the point? Why'd you go on it then? How'd you know who to match? Also, shout out, that is fucking shit of that girl. Someone could not be your type. You don't have to love or be sexually attracted to every sort of type of color of skin or whatever. But to just flat out say that and then say like, why am I here? And like, you just say, oh, lovely time, not for me, bye bye.
Even if you weren't fancying them, you just hang around and
the bizarreness of not realizing they were brown, or when you've matched them on Tinder, is bizarre.
But I think that's bullshit. I think that's utter bollocks. I think she panicked, said what she was really thinking, and didn't fancy him. Like, there's no way she didn't know. You know, she can see his photos. Like, it's just bizarre.
Loser. I have some really quick ones. These are just
Okay.
one sentence ones.
Right.
I'll just rattle through them.
Okay.
Being told they wanted to date you as you look like their dead ex.
That's so fucked on so many levels.
That's terrible, isn't it?
Was that a man or a woman who sent that?
I don't remember. I'm sorry. I don't remember.
Oh no, you got. Oh
I don't
man, that
remember.
is just so good. It'd almost be better if it was like, if it was a guy saying that to a woman. That would just be
That's proper like weird, like Liam Neeson shit. You're looking like my dead wife. Like,
do you mind if I give you some of her clothes? Would you? Would you?
yeah, exactly. Bringing their perfume, like putting it on you, spraying it on the tape.
Fucking hell.
A guy who had a foot fetish and he spent the evening checking out my shoes.
Oh yeah.
She thought dragons were real animals. I told her they weren't. She cried.
Good. Sorry, you're a moron. You're a moron.
He turned up to the park drunk and then pissed right next to me. Didn't even find a tree. This I really like this one. This is like a really long-term relationship one. Valentine's Day dinner. My ex set a 1-hour timer. 1 hour. You got 1 hour. Go. Fit it in the romance.
Oh god, that's just so good though. That's just because we all know that guy. No offense, mate. You've been that guy. You've been that guy who's married to the game of comedy, and you're like, look, love, I've got 1 hour for you. I'm gonna fit you in.
Even I don't set a timer. Okay, 1 hour timer for dinner, 15 minutes for sex, and then I've got to go. I've got to go back to.
Okay, I've got a really quick one. Okay, went on a romantic stroll to the Olympic Park. Right, with a 6'4", 28-year-old man. Okay, he left me standing, holding his jacket as he ran towards the swings when we went past the playground.
There's a sense of adventure in there, but the idea that he wouldn't say,
"You want to come?" Spoiler: hold my jacket.
Yeah, hold my jacket. Can I go on the swings?
Yeah. Oh, 6 swings.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like when I see a swing, I just gotta go. Like I've just gotta go.
Yeah.
I can see in his head thinking, this is gonna make me look really cute, and then actually just looking like a fucking idiot. He was an oral surgeon and kept telling me I'd be hot if I got braces. He drew a diagram of my teeth.
Oh man.
Okay, this is the last one.
So painfully good.
Before COVID, the guy showed up and turns out his Bumble pics were from 30 years ago.
30? How old was he?
This is interesting for a couple of reasons, right? So firstly, I imagine he's probably in his 50s then, I guess, and he's put some 20s.
Yeah.
Secondly, how are you not looking at his photos on Bumble and seeing like they're like from the 90s?
Polaroid, yeah, Polaroids, yeah, just from the fashion, you know. But like,
you know, like in a Will Smith jumper.
Yeah.
Oh wow, it's so edgy. You must have got it from like a vintage shop.
Yeah, with a Sony Walkman tape deck. Like what?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like what I find most baffling, and I've heard a few stories of men doing this, right? And it's that classic male mentality, which is just like, you just need to get me in the room. Just get me in the room.
Yeah.
Just, open the door, and once I'm in, I'll be fine.
These girls, they think they know what they want, but they don't really know what they want. You know, you turn up, bit of chat, buy them a drink, touch their arm. Suddenly it's like, just
open the door, and that's all I need.
That's
all I need. Once I'm in.
Opportunity.
I've got the best chat in the world, mate.
Yeah. But that was a fantastic selection for FailMail, for our debut of FailMail. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We'll be doing this every week. Next week's question we'll be putting out on Wednesday. It'll be something as similar broad stroke questioning that we can get some of your best stories for. But we put them out every Wednesday. If we have used your story on this and you've said to me that you don't mind us atting you when we post it out, we will. But yeah, we look forward to hearing more, guys, because this has been absolutely amazing.
Yeah, really good. And yeah, for the question, it'll be Wednesday on our Instagrams at Ali Woods Gigs, at Tom Elwes, and at AIDIF Pod. We'll share it on there as well on the story, and then you can reply to it in the story. If you don't use Instagram, then where you at, mate?